Councillor Brown, are you there?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Great, I can confirm that the live stream has now started.
Thank you very much. My name's Malcolm Brown. I'm the chair of the Cornwall Council Electoral Review Panel. Good afternoon to everybody who is present. Can I welcome you to this virtual meeting of the panel? Before consideration of today's business, I will outline the protocols for the meeting. Today's meeting is being live streamed to the public via Microsoft Teams and is also being recorded. If the Council's live stream fails during the meeting and we cannot share the proceedings, I will adjourn the meeting so that access can be restored. If the issue cannot be resolved, I will halt the meeting and the remaining business will be concluded at a future date. If a member experiences a technical issue, I will adjourn for a short period to try to re-establish their connection. When members are speaking, they may choose to use their video. As I call members to speak, I will remind you to switch on your microphone. If for some reason you cannot be heard, the democratic officer will advise you. Votes will be taken by using the raise your hand function and the result announced by the Democratic Services Officer. Where a member has declared a non-registrable interest, a disclosable pecuniary interest, or an interest by virtue of any trade union membership in a matter, they must leave the virtual meeting. Their departure will be confirmed and they will be invited to rejoin the meeting at the appropriate time. To confirm the procedure for today's meeting is that committee members who wish to speak on an item should indicate by typing across in the chat box. That's the end of the announcements. Before we start today's agenda, I will ask the Democratic Services Officer to confirm the attendance of members and officers.
Thank you, Chairman. Members, I'll now read out each of your names. If you could just confirm that you're present and state your electoral division, please. If we start with Councillor Brown, please.
Yes, I'm present. My name is Malcolm Brown, Councillor for St Austell, Bethel.
Thank you. Councillor Cole, please.
Yeah, it's Councillor Cole from St Eneder Division, Vice Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Frost, please.
Yeah, Councillor Lee Frost, Bobinson Petrock.
Thank you. Councillor Kenny.
Good afternoon, Joanna Kenny, Councillor for Newquay Pentire.
Thank you. Councillor Mike Thomas.
Good afternoon, Councillor Mike Thomas, Helston North.
Thank you. Councillor Moorcroft.
Good afternoon, everyone. Councillor Robin Moorcroft, Weybridge West.
Thank you. Councillor Wood.
Afternoon, everybody. Councillor John Wood from Roach Division. Thank you.
Councillor Bastin.
Good afternoon, John Bastin, Councillor for Constantine, Morland and Budok.
Thank you. And Councillor Formosa, please.
Hello there, Mark Formosa, Newton Treviglas.
Thank you. And Councillor Rouse, please.
Afternoon all, Jordan Rouse, Cornwall Councillor for Parr and St Blaise Gate.
Thank you. Chairman, I can also confirm that we have Councillor Pollard in attendance to speak on behalf of Hale. And with regards to officers, we have Stephen Taylor, Dan Webb, Stephen Foster. We have Sarah Mason from Calc and myself, Steve Childs, the clerk for today.
Thank you very much. Can I thank everybody for attending? And I'm going to be a bit cheeky and say to Councillor Pollard, wearing his hat as chair of the Constitution and Governance Committee, no decision has yet been taken to recommend to the council whether this panel should continue into the new council. I hope C&G will recommend that it does, and I hope we've demonstrated today by turning up at 4 o'clock on a Monday afternoon how totally committed we all are. Can I apologise for the fact that the scheduled meeting was cancelled? That was because work was needed on Hale. That has now been concluded to a point that that can be taken. Given that, I think the meeting today will be very short. Indeed, we may even set a world record. When the meeting is closed, we will switch off the live feed, and there will then be a short session which will give officers an opportunity to explain what they've done since the council meeting, and they can answer any questions. Okay. Item 1 on the agenda, apologies for absence. I take it there aren't any because everybody's here, although I think Councillor Wood has to leave very soon.
Yes, that's correct, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Item 2, declarations of interest. I'm assuming there aren't any. No. Right, items 3 to 5 are the minutes of the 3 outstanding meetings. We have to take them separately. So what I'm going to do in each case is to ask whether there are any points on the accuracy of the minutes anybody wishes to raise. If there aren't, I'll then propose them. Vice Chair will second, and we will have a raise your hand vote. Okay, so the first lot, item 3, the minutes of the meeting on the 23rd of September. Does anyone have any comments on those minutes? No, I can't see any, so I'm happy to propose them. Vice Chair, will you second?
Happy to second.
Okay, if everyone who wishes to vote for them could raise their hands, please.
Chair, I can confirm that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Could everybody lower their hands? Item 4, minutes of the meeting on the 1st of October. Are there any points of accuracy from anybody? Okay, I will propose them. Vice Chair, will you second?
Happy to second.
All those in favour, raise your hands, please.
Thank you, Chair. That's unanimous as well.
Thank you very much. Item 5, minutes of the meeting on the 6th of October. Are there any comments about accuracy? Okay, I will go for the hat trick and propose them. Vice Chair?
Happy to second.
All those in favour, raise your hands.
Thank you, Chair. That one's unanimous as well.
Thank you very much. That brings us on to item 6, the proposal from Hale Town Council. As has been explained, there was a supplementary paper which was emailed out. I'm going to ask Stephen Taylor to introduce it and then invite John Pollard as local member to speak. Stephen.
Thank you, Chairman. The report sets out the situation. The background is that Hale Town Council and Cornwall Council were in email exchanges concerning potential rewarding of Hale Council, of Hale Parish rather, and in fact it was also raised at the council meeting on the 3rd of November. As set out in 1.6. Hale Town Council met on the 19th of November, last Thursday, in order to formally approve the proposal, and we received notification of that on Friday morning, and we did this report on Friday afternoon, which was circulated, which is why, unfortunately, we weren't able to get any paper copies to people. The issue is that the Local Government Boundary Commission for England put forward in the Cornwall Electoral Changes Order 2019 that there be 2 wards for Hale, and they're set out in the table on in 2.4. Hale Town Council is of the view that there is a better way forward, and they are proposing that there be 3 wards as set out in 2.5. The electoral ratio of the Hale proposal It certainly gives a better equality than that of the Local Boundary Commission. And again, the figures are set out in 2.5 in the table there. The only point I need to add, Chairman, is that because the parish arrangements were made by the Boundary Commission for England in the 2019 order, their consent will be needed for any change to those arrangements. The Chief Executive of the Boundary Commission has the power to grant consent should he be minded, but one of the factors that he will need to take into account is whether or not there's been sufficient consultation undertaken by Hale Town Council on the proposal. If he considers that there hasn't been sufficient consultation, then he will defer the decision, I suspect, to the Commission, which could take time, which therefore may need it to be deferred because there wouldn't be time to bring it in force prior to the May 21 elections. And if so, then that would be a matter for the panel as to whether or not it wishes to revisit the matter after the May election next year. Any questions? Happy to add, but Councillor Pollard is here in order to speak to the proposal.
Could I just ask you, Stephen, just to say one thing, putting it in very simple terms, following the point that Councillor Pollard raised totally validly at Council, I gave an undertaking that work would be done. This has taken quite a lot of work to get to this point, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, both on the part of Hale Town Council and Cornwall Council, both of whom have moved very quickly. I take it that the one-line summary is that we're all doing our best to try to get this over the line for May next year, but we can't guarantee it. That decision is out of our hands. And if it doesn't work, then the council will maybe have to be asked to come back to this next session.
Chairman.
Yes. Okay. Could I bring in Councillor Pollard, please?
Yes, good afternoon all. First of all, can I thank Stephen and his team, because I know they've worked very hard with our town clerk, Ellie, to bring this about, and certainly to thank members for meeting in this sort of special way. I would stress that as far as Hale Town Council is concerned, we recognise the imbalance in the two suggested wards from the very start, and we did make our first sort of statement on this in September. It's unfortunate that we've got to a point where we've had to act speedily at the end to get something which is acceptable to all through. But in terms of consultation, the consultation that took place originally was about the imbalance rather than this specific proposal which we've come to. The Boundary Commission left us with a great imbalance in our two wards. And it was particularly important because up to this point, we've had two very balanced town wards, one south, one north, one of 8 members, one of 7 members, geographically similar, with a very clear demarcation down through the middle of the town of the railway line. It was simple, people liked it, it was democratic, it was good to manage, and I believe it was very representative of the town. The imbalance that we were left with was unfortunate, and we tried to address that by doing some amendments to the huge area, which you'll see on the maps, which is part of the division of Hale and Gwynedd Gwyddion. Unfortunately, that's not possible. However, we have tried to amend, or we are proposing to amend the warding arrangements to provide a greater balance and a better representation. And that is by creating 2 wards within the division of Hale West, and this will be a Hale Town Central Ward. Geographically it works, community-wise it works, the borders are very clear, and it does create 3, as we've said in the papers, 3 distinct wards, which can, I believe, improve the representation on Hale Town Council. So I commend it to you. I think the town clerk, town council, and Stephen and his team have done good work getting this to you. It is probably better than the original proposal, and certainly it will provide for the next election a much more balanced Hale Town Council, and I think a much better hope of creating some competition for council places and a fully democratic procedure. Thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you, John. Any questions or comments from members of the panel? Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Chairman. A lot of work has been done on this. It's the view of the local town council. It stacks up in numerically, so I'd be happy to move as set out. Well, move that we accept the proposal with the caveats given by the officer.
Thank you very much. I'm going to, when we get to a vote, I'm going to ask Steve Childs to read the recommendation so that everyone is totally clear with it. I've got Councillor Wood. Did you wish to speak, or are you prepared to second as well?
Both, Chairman. Happy to second, because I don't know this area very well at all, and having sat and read the papers very carefully, it just makes total sense to me. And I think coming at it as an outsider, I wouldn't put in inverted commas, I'm perfectly happy to second it, because I can't see why the Electoral Commission at all would say a no to it. It just makes total sense and adds up, and the figures look good. So yes, I'm quite perfectly happy to second it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Good. That's been a fairly easy ride for you, John. We will.
Always grateful.
Could I ask Steve Childs to read the recommendation, please?
Thanks, Chairman. Just need 2 seconds to get to the right page in the paperwork. Sorry, Chair, just to be clear, do you want me to read the recommendation from the report?
I think so, and I'm then going to ask Stephen and then the mover just to check if that is still what the collective view is that we should be voting on. But I think if you could give us what's in the report first, that's the starting point.
So, Chairman, I think it's literally just 2.1, isn't it?
Absolutely right, Chairman. The proposal is that the scheme be approved by the council. That will be included in the scheme approved by the council on the 3rd of November, and then 2.1 and 2.12 go to it. So the proposal is the scheme be accepted, and therefore then the rest of 2.1 follows.
Okay. Does everybody follow that? Hopefully, yes. So, Councillor Cole, you are proposing that?
Absolutely.
Councillor Wood, you are seconding that?
Absolutely.
Right, we will go to a hands raised vote, please.
Thank you, Chairman. That's unanimous.
Thank you all very much. If you could all lower your hands. Now that's been done. I'm sorry that there was a bit of confusion. I think it's probably fair to say that officers had to accommodate a vast amount of work during the autumn, and I think it's very impressive that we've achieved as much as we have. But hopefully, even coming in a bit late, we can get Hale over the line in the way the town council wants as well. So, item 7, any other business? I don't have any other business, so I'm going to close the meeting, but to remind everybody who wishes to stay on the line, and there will be a brief informal update on work that has been done since the council meeting, and anyone can then raise any questions or discuss anything. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Pleasure. Thanks, John.
Cheers, John.
Bye.